Heading to live stream.
Hi, good morning, Bindu. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Great to have all of you here. We'll just wait for 2 more minutes, and at exactly 11:05, we're going to start. So be ready with your questions. Today is an interesting topic. For some, it becomes life-changing. Hey, Swati, so nice to see you. Good morning. You're on mute.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much. Same here. Bindu, in the group, in fact, I also just pinged to share the link. I think someone else is also pinged to share the link.
Okay. So can you share it again, everyone?
I'm just, okay. It's in my mail. I'm just trying to figure out how to share it.
No problems. Let me share it then.
Okay.
Let me share it. Okay. So,
yep.
Okay. I can see a lot of you already here. So we are around 9 people and one last minute to go, and then we are going to start.
Are you wearing a sweater? I'm sorry. You're reminding me of actually not winter.
Take it offline, I know. It's just that I'm a little I'm getting under the weather, so. Okay. So till then, okay, so it's 11:05 and till everyone is joining in, let me show you some nice ones. Okay. So a very, very good morning to all of you, my Positive Lights group. I'm extremely enjoying this week with all these back-to-back sessions. And I hope you have a lot of questions today, because all we talk in Positive Lights is law of attraction. So I think that's like the core to all of our hearts. And these are some of the quotations I really like. Now, to start with, I want to make this whole conversation very, very question answer driven rather than me taking you through the slides. So, the first thing, you have been part of the group for a long time now. I would love to hear your experiences and your any questions that you have around law of attraction. What would you want to learn or know more? Today is the detox session for law of attraction. So over to all of you. What do you want to learn?
Okay, so maybe I'll go first, and that's because I just started my journey more inclined towards it. So while it has always been there from last couple of months, I am giving a lot of time. So and I'm reading a lot through to understand how does it actually work? Does it actually work, and how things are? So one thing, and I'm still exploring. And for me, the main intent to join this session was to learn more from you all and see what you all do. But what I want to understand is that when I read through, I see there are a lot of people telling lot of things. for law of attraction. Say, for example, if you are something like, if you want more money to come in, 5 or 10, there are affirmation quotes that you have to keep reminding, keep
Yes.
talking. But then what is means from and if Bindu, if you can guide through, what is, if in your experience, your perspective, what is the right way for a law of attraction to work? And
Hmm.
is there an instance, or are there anything that we do which is not the right way of practicing it?
Hmm.
Like, it's information overdose for some people like us, I can say. I'm trying to explore. So what is the right way? When is it, when is it
Okay.
that it doesn't work? What are the things that we should keep in mind when we are consciously practicing it, that these are to do, these are not to do?
Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So why it sometimes fails and why it works sometimes. Yeah, okay. That's a great one. Thank you, Swati. Anyone else? Why are
So
you?
once while during our conversations on the Positive Lights group, one thing that I've come across is we attract the negative or the good and the bad in people. So why would I attract something, a bad boss or a bad person in my life? This is something which is unknown for me. I thought I would share.
Okay. Super. Okay, Noreen, that's a great, very, very potent question. Hi,
Hi, Bindu.
Pankaj. Good to see you.
Hi, good to see you, Bindu. Hi. Definitely we have read a lot about it, as Swati also mentioned, right? And this is like, what you seek is seeking you. Is the another, probably the Rumi's quote which comes to my mind. Uh, but again, I think in terms of really getting at it at all the time, and to make sure that it's working for you, definitely there are more things which needs to be done rather than reading some of the quotes or attending few
Absolutely.
seminars, right? So
Absolutely.
that is what I probably want to understand. And I also want to link, what is the linkage between positive thinking and law of attraction, if any? Like, are this a stepping stone to get to a law of attraction? Like, you start with some positive thoughts and then go there. Is there any link? Or, yeah, I mean, just probably want to explore more about on those lines.
Okay. Okay. That's great.
Thank you.
Uh,
Hi Bindu, Krishna here.
yes,
Good morning.
Krishna. Good
So
morning.
I have a question regarding the law of attraction. As
Hmm.
we say, the law of attraction, attraction encompasses both things, like good and bad. But why it tends to happen like good when we try to attract something good, and if we are closing to its towards it with a small step, we don't have that energy. Okay, I took one step, I am closer to my positive goal. But
Hmm.
if we attract something very negative, and
Hmm.
even nothing has happened towards having very negative in a single step towards that side also, our
Hmm.
mind keeps on thinking, okay, I thought having something negative in my life, and
Hmm.
I feel like I am totally accelerated towards the negative attraction which I had in my mind. So
Hmm.
why there is this bifurcation which we have, why there is very less like strong affinity of positive attraction in
Hmm.
which one holds, and why for negative it is very high?
Great question yet again. Why negative? Why do we tend to get attracted more to negative than positive? Excellent. Okay.
Yeah.
So one last, anyone who wants to let us
Uh,
know?
Binduji,
Yes.
from a question from an engineer's point of view,
Yes.
so they say that we have, I may be wrong in quoting the number, but say more than 20,000 or something thoughts in a day. So what
Yes.
proportion of your thoughts, related to the point that Shri was also asking, should
Mm,
be in the right direction on what you want to achieve, right? I'll not say positive, negative, but in the
mm,
direction or the outcome that you're seeking,
mm.
what proportion of them should be there? And again, an engineering question, he was asking cause and effect. How soon you know that you are moving in that direction or something is working for you? Because we also want some kind of feedback, right, in the interim. So what is that feedback mechanism that we have, that we know that we are progressing in the right direction or not? And if course correction is required.
Super. Wow. And that was engineering question, but very, very potent in very, very nice question. Thank you, Vidit. Hi, Gaurav. Good to see you.
Hi, Bindu. How are you?
Good Very, very good.
So just one quick question. How do we, like, I'm sure we all practice this in terms of absorbing all the positive energies and trying to kind of create a shield, which we see in a lot of sci-fi movies, to kind of I would say reflect or refract the negative energies. But is there a mechanism to do it, kind of a, or is there a stepwise process also to do it in terms of kind of reflecting or deflecting the negative energies, so that we attract only the positive ones, stay positive, and again give positive vibes? So is there a mechanism, or it's internally in our mind that we have to kind of take it from one end and kind of leave it from the other end?
Mechanism to refract the negative, attract the positive, and what can we do about it? Okay,
Right.
great. So good, very, very pertinent questions. I am not sure if we will be able to answer everything today, but I promise that the last program that we have on, I think 30th or 31st, the last workshop is again Q&A. So if there is anything that is unanswered, we can do that and we can answer those right away then. So, and we can of course continue the conversations on our Positive Lights group. So let us begin. Are you all ready to venture into this? Yeah. So let me see some
Yes.
energy, all of you. Are you all ready? You can write on the chat, or you can say, okay. So
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
here, super. So before I even venture into law of attraction, the science of it, the history of it, I don't want to get there. But before I even do that, my first question is, law of attraction for what? We all understand what is law of attraction. But very important question is that for what are you using it? What are you attracting, or what do you want to attract in life? Are you all clear on that? Do you know what is the right thing for you to attract, and what is, I mean, apart from saying negative and positive, which is a very, very big umbrella, do you really know what you want? And that is the first question that I'm going to throw upon to you. A lot of times, law of attraction, which is of course self-explanatory to all of you, it doesn't work because we haven't thought through what exactly and why exactly do we want to attract. So having the right goal, having the right stuff, very, very in a very clear way, which is in alignment with our being, is the most important starting point. And that is the biggest, and Swati, to your point, that is the biggest reason why people are not able to attract. That is, one of the persons said that the moment I start getting closer to my goal, I get diffracted or whatever. So deflected. And why that happens is because one of the very important steps towards law of attraction is to know what do you want to attract, what is the goal, and why do you want it. So I will need a lot of your participation in this discussion to really get to what we are saying. Now, if I were to ask you a very simple question, right? I'll pick up anyone. Say, for example, let me pick up Noreen. Noreen, are you there? Noreen?
Yes. Yeah.
Noreen, if I were to ask you, what is it that you want to attract in life? What is it? What is the goal you are behind? What will be your answer?
So I would see a happy and healthy me and my family. That's what I would attract in life.
Okay, so happy, healthy family is
Yeah.
what you want to attract.
Yeah.
And are you successful in doing that?
I'm working towards it. So,
Okay.
yeah. So sometimes you may face some difficulties in life. So
Mhm.
I'm working towards building myself towards the path where whatever comes my way, we try to be happy. That is,
Okay. So, one lesson that all of us need to learn, and this is something which I have been practicing for a long time now, is that there is this word called happy, which is the most deceiving word in the dictionary. Because what happy means to you, Noreen, or to Yogesh, or to Gaurav, will be very different from what happy means to me. So, am I really clear? Have I defined it to my brain? What is that happiness? You understand? It's a very,
yeah.
very large umbrella. Now, there, when you set our when we set our goals, the first most important point is, are they clear? Because see, even if you are working and you set a goal for your team, if it is not clear to them, they might come up saying, I'm successful, oh, I have completed all the goals. And for you, it might not be the same thing. You might feel that they have missed out. But you know what? If the parameters are not set, if the goals are not smart, um, even at workplace, you wouldn't get that success. So in life, of course, you if you look at your brain as a team member, okay, someone who's waiting for your instructions, if you don't give the right instructions, clear instructions on what you really want, it might not work. Brain gets confused. What do you mean by happy? So the first step, and I want all of you to take this step, is to write down, you know, 5 things that you really, really want in life and make it smart. Okay. So write down, and if you have your pens and paper right away, please do that. 5 tangible things that you would want. And if it is as intangible as being happy, then please dissect it and get it to the tangible outcome of what does happy mean to you. For me, when I defined happiness, it was more about me, my family sitting together in a dining room and having laughter. We are playing, we are, so I define what does that mean to me, and that becomes easy. Then for your brain to comprehend, what do you really want? Are you all with me?
Yes.
So
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Thanks, Bindu,
great.
for explaining.
We have goals that are tangible and we have goals that are intangible. Tangible goals are, for example, I want to move into a bigger house, I want to get promotion, I want to get this, that car, whatever tangible things that we need in life. Intangible goals is how we want to feel about it, right? How do we want to feel all the time? Happiness, satisfaction, healthy, whatever. Please dissect your goals. Just get more clarity. Is that tangible? Is that intangible? And then the next step is to make intangible also tangible, because you know what, the irony is that when we say that my goal is to be healthy, for me what is healthy is definitely not the same for any marathon runner that is there in this group. Yeah, for me my healthiness tracker is, or my goal to be healthy is that when I go for my blood test, everything comes clean. For someone else, it could be the right figure that I want. For someone else, it could be stamina. You understand? So think about it and make the intangible tangible. That is the first step towards setting your goals. Now, I'm going to take a pause here and ask you, any questions so far? Any thought that you're getting? Does that make sense? Have you written? Can you give me some example? Chandni, Nehul. Yes, Vidit.
Only one question here. See, for example, you also said the goal should be in alignment with your being, right? And we spoke about values also yesterday. For example, culturally,
Vidit, your voice has a lot of static.
is it better now?
No.
All right. So I'll probably ask later on if the voice
Or
is.
maybe you can type it down on the chat and we can read it out.
Yeah. Is it better now? I'll try once more.
Probably what he probably what he wanted to mention was values. So in yesterday's session, he wants to connect the values on our goals.
We'll
Is
come
that
to
the
that.
question?
No, how do you connect values to goals? Is that your question, Vidit?
Yes, right. And also, how much influence does the, say, other factors have? For example, cultural, societal factors.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Yes. So we'll talk about the feasibility. We'll talk about how to give more power to the goals. But first step is to write down what you really want. Yeah. So Shri, I see what you have written. Have a happy life with good health, running a successful business where learning never stops. Now, is that a SMART goal? SMART, if you don't understand it's an acronym. It's not the word SMART, but it's an acronym. Go and figure out what SMART stands for if you don't. But what we really mean is that if you are giving that goal to your team member, lead a successful business, he's going to look at you like that. Okay, so what success means to him and what success means to you might be two different things. So when Shri, you write successful business, what does that mean in terms of money, in terms of people, in terms of feelings? Give as much clarity to your goal as possible. Your brain is very, very much equivalent to a very dumb team member who needs to get all the instructions. Otherwise, they will assume. That's what your brain will also do. I always say your brain is an idiot box. It's just a machine, nothing else. It takes your commands. So if your brain takes your commands and your commands are not clear, how will it make it happen? Right? So again, another chance to all of you. What is it exactly? Someone who can give me a very, very clear goal. This is what I want to achieve, Bindu. This is what I want to attract in my life. What do you want to attract in life? That is the key question. Key question is not how to do it. There are 10,000 ways to do it. And I'll share a lot of stuff here to do it. But then what makes sense is what is it that you want to attend? Yes, Prashant, you want to say something?
Yeah, Bindu. Bindu, I want to attract peace in my life. I want to attract calmness in my life.
Okay.
That's why I intend to get that.
Okay. So great. Peace, calmness is something that, we feel that it is same for everyone. But then again, any kind of feeling, we have given it a name. So we would know what does it mean. So Prashant, for you, when you say I want to attract peace in my life, if you were to dissect and see, and one of the very important questions that you can ask yourself is that when I get peace in my life, how that peace would look like. What are those scenes? Is it about you just sitting there on the bed watching TV? Because that's what peace means to me at times. So, and for some other people, it could be just going to a holiday and sitting down the beach. So describe those scenarios. Describe the visuals, audios, kinesthetics to your brain so it knows what are you trying to attract. Yes, Pankaj, you want to say something?
No, I've written few. I completely agree with you that I think we, generalize a lot in terms of success and happiness. And so I have written few goals. My only question was, and I think if I read it out, you will tell me whether it's right or wrong. So one is I've just started a consulting firm. So I want my consulting firm to be on top 3 by 2021 end. and achieve a $1 million of revenue. Okay, so that's the goal I have set. We have set it for our consulting firm, right? My son is just getting into 11, 12. So I really want him to go to top 10 university in US or UK, right? So that's another goal. I have started some kind of a spiritual journey through Gita class, and also I want to kind of extend that journey and achieve a state where I can find happiness without getting dependent on any kind of a human being. So I want to find happiness on anything else, which is but not dependent on relationships or a human being, right? And also I want my wife is trying to get back to work, and so I really want her to be kind of professionally again and come back to her journey. So while I was writing, I was thinking, can I decide goals for others also, or should it be only
that was what I was going to,
that's the question.
So in our Hindu scriptures, and in fact any scriptures that you read, one thing we always need to remember is that everybody is leading their own destiny and journey. We might be able to enable, impact it, do what is in your influence. You read Gita, you would know. Karam kar, phal ki ichha mat kar.
Right.
Is what, is the core. When you ask for someone else, the outcome is not in your hands. Yeah. You can only enable, do whatever you can to help them in the journey. But eventually, in anything that you do, the outcome is not in your hands. And the sooner we accept it, the better it is. Here is one of the very common tool that I absolutely love explaining it to people with. I'm sure all of you might already be aware. Now, there are some things in our life that are in our direct circle of control, which means that we take action. Any worry that we have, we take action, and then we get the outcome. It's like, going to a mall, buying something. It's in your hand. You don't need to sit there and think about it. Yeah, maybe these days you need to. COVID is there, but then action is in your hands, right? You wear a mask, you do whatever you can, and outcome is also in your hands. Then there are things that you want where they depend on circle of influence. So which means that you can take some actions to influence the outcome. But completely, it's not in your hand because there are other dependencies. There are other people. And maybe in your case, Pankaj, you are setting out goals for some other person. So it's interdependent. I'm not saying you will not achieve it, but it's interdependent. So obviously, your first goal, so your goal around your happiness in your hands, vis-a-vis, thinking about someone else's happiness in your hands, if you understand what I mean, you actually putting yourself into a zone where potentially you might feel helpless at some point in time. If you own the outcome, if you feel that you are responsible for the outcome, if the responsibility is owned by all the parties, obviously it is achievable. Did you get what I mean to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, getting it. Yeah.
So in those cases, for example, I also want my daughter to grow up and become this, that, whatever. I mean, of course, we all have dreams, but I can only enable that. And rest, I'll have to explain my brain, because everybody has their own life script and they are responsible for their lives, no matter if it's a small child or bigger adult. So now next circle is called circle of concern. Now here we want world peace, where there's very little influence, but I can't do anything about it if there is a terrorist attack. But I spend my 90% of the day brooding about it because I can't do anything right now. Can I take any action? No. Can I affect the outcome? No. So now if you want to attract, what do you want to attract is very important. So choose things that are in your circle of influence and circle of control. Circle of concern, you want to attract, you can bring it in your circle of influence first and then circle of control. There are certain things that you would certainly want to, and that's the answer to everyone who says, oh, if law of attraction works, then there shouldn't be no terrorist attacks, no murders, no rapes. But it is an interdependent goal. Yeah, so you can still influence some part of it, but you cannot own the outcome. So that's another check that you can do with your goals. Any questions on this? Anything that you...
Bindu, I just wanted to, maybe for myself, I just wanted to make sure I got it. So, are we saying that only whatever is there under our circle of control, that's where the, when we have affirmations and so everything works around that only. Anything which is not in our circle of control, it will not work. Is that what we are trying to say?
No. So what we are trying to say is that owning the outcome will give you fear because they are interdependencies. First of all, divide your goals into these 3 circles. Whatever is there in your circle of concern, and if you want to attract that part, it will take time.
Okay.
It will take consistent actions. It will take time for it to get into your circle of influence and then circle of control.
Okay. Got it now. Yep.
Yeah. So absolutely, the whole meaning of law of attraction is that you feel that it's not something that you can achieve, but you finally get it, right? So, but it takes time, it takes consistent action, and it takes a dissociation from the outcome to start with. Okay. So Pankaj, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it's very clear. It's very. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's move on. Any other question around goals? So what we are saying is that before we even start learning about law of attraction, what is very important is that you're clear on what you want to attract in life. The first check we did on the goals is that whether it is tangible or intangible. The second action that we want to do is to make intangible tangible. So if you're saying, I want to be happy, I want to be peaceful, I want to just give examples to your brain that if I'm happy, if my business is successful, if I am successful, what are the visuals, audios, kinesthetics? What are the proofs, tangible things that will happen around us so we know that we have achieved the goal? These 2 points clear?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So now let's move on to the next part of why. That actually gets to the question which talks about, now, why do we really want what we want? All of you have shared a lot of these goals of yours. But there's another exercise that is very important to understand, and that's where with it your question gets answered. You will connect it somewhere to what are our values. So let's start with taking an example. Somebody said, Shri, do you want to come online and discuss this? I need one volunteer. Anyone? Vidit?
I can.
Yeah.
I have.
Hi, Gaurav.
Yeah. So, so in terms of my professional life, all good. I'm content, motivated. In terms of my personal life, I want to kind of give that space to my wife, so that because she wants to move out of the rat race, so-called rat race, and move into more artistic, or pursue her artistic passions. So so this is kind of a goal. However, I know it's not a very smart goal. I need to make it more specific. But I can volunteer to take this and discuss.
So, Gaurav, this is your wife's goal.
No, this is my goal, to give her that space.
That space. Okay. So your goal is to give her that space.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, so give her that space, as in terms of right now both are working, whereas she wants to move out of this rat race, and she wants to get into a space where she can kind of easily quit her job in some time, and follow her passions, and I give her that space, at that comfort, that fine, I am easily able to take care of all the other responsibilities and needs.
great. Now you're talking. So when you say space, it's again very, very vague as a language, because space
Okay,
could be mental space, space
got
could be physical space, space could also be emotional space,
got it, got it.
right? So,
Yeah.
and also financial space,
True, true.
right? So, what kind of space are we planning, or are you planning to give her? And why is it that is so important for you to give her that space? Why? What makes it so important for you?
Because that's clearly, she has identified that as a passion for herself, and that's something which will give her uh, joy, peace of mind,
So,
happiness.
Gaurav, this again, the goal is hers, but I'm talking about you, because you are here, she's not here.
Okay,
By giving her space, your goal is to give her space.
right, right, that's
Yeah,
right.
you can change your goal right now if you want to. But then my question is, why is giving her space so important for you?
Because that eventually will increase my peace of mind, my I would say, how do I put it, increase my happiness quotient, my positivity quotient, or the entire, I would say, um, I'm not sure if I'm able to put it in words, but basically, that will definitely give me also happiness, because she's happy. So if the
Why
uh,
her happiness? And that's a very stupid question, but then this is how the tool works. Why is her happiness so important for you?
okay, so um, it's simply because we are in the same space, same surrounding, and if somebody is not happy, be it her, be it my kid, anyone, that will definitely affect me, because that will not give me a positive feeling or a positive vibe,
Why
or
is
a,
being positive so important for you?
sorry, repeat that again, please.
Why is being positive, vibes, and all that is so important for you?
Because that's how our brain is kind of wired or tuned in to think that we always want positive. If we tune our brain in such a way that even negative is good, or some sort of negative, like we keep talking, some part of cholesterol is equally important for our body. Not every cholesterol is bad. So if and that's tuned. So similarly, if we tune our mind, so right now the mind is tuned that we
Gaurav, I
only
have
want.
a very, very simple question. Why is it? So, when I asked you why is your wife's, why giving space is more important, you said peace of mind, my happiness quotient. Now I'm saying that why is it that,
Space as in financial space,
okay,
and the space to follow her passions and dreams. Yeah, just to make it more
so
specific. Sorry.
So that is where I'm coming to. That one, make it as specific as you can. And if you're saying financial space, then how much? And I'll give you a quick example. I was in the similar position, and my husband was in a similar position as you are today. Okay, I wanted to start on my own. This dream of mine that you can see. Okay, fun.
Yes.
This was 3 years ago, and before that, before 3 years, which means 8 years ago, I had this, seed in my mind, and I know where you're coming from. But when it started happening was when we both sat together. He shared his intent, he shared his fears, I shared my fears, and we decided on a particular amount. The day we have this amount in my bank, I will jump. And that became more clear and easier for both of us. So that's one point. Make it more smart, make it more specific. But what the exercise that we are doing right now is, when you have made it clear, also align it to your values. And whatever answers I've received from you, Gaurav, the value of happiness, or we call peace of mind, it's more about your state of being. You know that when your ecology is happy, then your state of being is happy, and that is very important for you.
True.
Right? Now, if it was someone else, let's take another example. Anyone who wants to come? Okay, let me not give a hard time. We're anyway live on YouTube, so I understand that it can be uncomfortable. So, what we are saying is that if you keep asking yourself, why is it so important? So, somebody did this exercise with me. Bindu, you want to start on your own, and why is it so important for you to start on your own? So I started giving them answers like, no, and I'm really not able to display my full potential. They say, what will happen if you display your full potential? And I was like, no, I will be able to be creative and do more, help more people. And they say, what is so important about helping more people? And that struck me. Yeah, you know what? When at my work, somebody comes and tells me, Bindu, I still remember you shared this, and that has changed my life. I remember the kind of happiness I would get at that moment would be nothing in front of, would be everything in front of, if my boss, vis-a-vis your boss, comes and says you're promoted, the happiness of being able to help others was much, much more. And that's where I realized, okay, though I'm operating from the value of helping others. So with it, to your question, how do you align your values? It is important that every goal that you set for yourself, and this is for everyone, all the goals, the smart goals that you have set for yourself, align it to why you want it. What will it get you? So Gaurav, my question to you would be, and you can reflect on it, are you sure that once your wife starts on her own, it will bring happiness? It will bring that peace. Are you sure? And that's where, these are hard questions.
Okay.
That's it. I will start with one of the concepts which will help you understand this a little better. And that is called have, do, and be. Have you heard about this? Have, do, be?
Yes.
Great.
Being or kind of in the being, the cause in the matter.
Yeah. So now let me just understand. So Shri, you shared that you wanted your business to be successful. Shri, are you there? Okay, maybe he's not there. But I need some volunteer, otherwise it'll be, very faff, it'll be in the air. So anyone who wants to
Maybe I can volunteer if my voice is clear now.
Yeah, it's perfect with it. So with it, give me one goal that you have.
Okay, I want say $1 million in my bank account by the age of 40. So which will roughly translate to say 7 CR of savings. That's
Okay.
what I want to achieve. Say by the time I am 40 years of age. This is one of the goals I have.
Okay. What will this goal get you?
It will give me a sense of security and financial freedom to explore on other avenues that I want to do in my life.
Okay. And when you do those other avenues, when you do explore that, what will that get you?
So that again is like some of the things that you mentioned, right? So it would be me exploring myself even more, right? So I've been in a corporate job, so I know that there are some things that I've been able to do. Maybe there's beyond me that as well. When I'm operating totally out of in an unconstrained manner, what all I can explore, maybe I can do something better as well. I do not know that, Binduji, to be very specific with you right now. But if the money is going to give me financial freedom and sense of security, I think that is for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And 7 crores by 40 will give you that security and financial freedom.
Yeah, and then the way that I have arrived at this number is as in like even if I want to retire by then and I do not earn anything, as in like, and if I want to probably help others as well. So there is an amount that I have allocated to if I want to do some kind of something which helps other directly, right? For example, I want to
You
start.
understand with it the reasons for what you need these 7 crores. What will security bring you? What will you do if you get security? It's not clear. You don't know.
Yeah, so Binuji, if you remember, yesterday we were speaking about a lot of fears that are there, right? For example, there's one constant fear that maybe in your upbringing or overall, as in like you are always fearful in the sense that what if I do not have enough, right? And that also constrains us at times to
Hmm.
take some kind of risky decisions and to go full blown on what we want to do.
Hmm.
So at times, this when you have certain corpus in hand, then you can be more risky. You can take certain decisions in an unconstrained manner.
Okay. And what are those decisions?
For example, if I want to start a startup for elderly care in India, and
Hmm.
I want to do that, right? So, but I cannot do it right now, as Gaurav was also saying that his wife wants to start something, but they may be feeling that let's have some financial security, then we do that, right?
Got it. So I got my first answer that once you have that security and financial freedom, this is what is your real passion. This is
Yeah,
what you
that's right.
want to do. Why is this for elderly people so important for you?
Bindu, I have had certain experiences, personal experiences, by which I do believe that, and the way the society has transformed, and my own personal experiences, I do believe that post-retirement, and people are talking about early retirement as well right now, maybe by the age of 50, 51. After that, how do we positively engage lives of people in terms of not just health, but keeping them engaged, keeping them the golden years of the
Why
life?
is it so important? What will it get you?
But it's like I, uh, as I said, Binduji, personal experiences that I've had, I found a lack in this space, right? For example, my parents have retired. My father has retired. I've seen him, and I see him from a personal experience, I saw that he was a very active man when he was working. But after that, I found that his mental faculties, physical, are still intact. But at times, I feel him at loss to really kind of utilize his time well
Hmm.
and be that positively engaged person that he was, and
Hmm.
also in terms of health wise as well, what all we can do. So I saw this is a space where we can help people kind of even in their age. So while society says that you have to retire by 60, but if they're active, they are like still can contribute. We can learn so for example, one idea that I had is like we can leverage their experience. So a lot of people need mentorship and coaching right now, young people who are.
That's great with it. So we'll get into details once we get into a longer session. But how the passion that we experience when you're talking about the startup, you clearly want to attract that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And one word that you continuously repeated is help. Help people who are retiring. right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now that's how it gets connected to your values. That's when it gets connected to your passion. And that's when it gets attached to why you want it. What is the purpose? You've seen your dad going through that and you don't want to see others. Simple. Passion. So when you keep asking, and this is an example for all of you, when you keep asking yourself, why is it important? What will it get me? And these two questions can get your goal more clarity, more potency, and that drive to achieve it becomes stronger. So that's the next tech tool that you can use for yourselves. By asking these two questions, get more clarity of why you want it, what will it get you. Does that give some clarity with it, people, others?
Yes, Bindu, I just
Yes.
one follow-up here. For example, see, I said one amount of money, right? When I was saying that also, there was this kind of what do you say? How do I put it? Like because we are not very comfortable talking about money, right? If I would just put that manner, people may say that, or I was thinking why I have to put such an amount out, right? Preposterous amount, while I may not be anywhere close to it today, right? So even when I was saying that, it may come to my mind that it was coming to my mind. Why do I need it? So I have done some calculations, but see, in terms of one value, right? While my overall value is to help, but I need something in the bridge to enable me to do that. But seems like an enabler to start at least on that journey. But
And
money at times, if in terms of values, Binduji, most of us, like how we are grown up, we think that यार money उतना ही होना चाहिए जितनी आपकी needs पूरी हो जाए, and all those things we grow up with that, right? So, and anything in excess, you are kind of being greedy or whatever, like all those things, right? And it's not seen in a very positive manner, the relationship with money. So but then can conflict with the value, so the bridge is conflicting with the value, with the overall aim that you have. So how do you overcome that? Yeah, Bindi.
okay, that's a great question with it, and that's where we get on to the next. So I'm not covering have to be, since most of you said you already are aware of it. But remember, one, clarity of goals. Second thing that we discussed was why do you want it? What is important about it? Now the third thing, which with it very beautifully you put across, and very, very honestly that you put across, what stops us? And remember, the only thing that stops us is these thoughts, these beliefs, these algorithms that we have learned. So the next step that you do in law of attraction is to, once you have the clarity, write down all of these thoughts that come to your mind about enabling the process or disabling the process. Remember, there are only two ways to live a life. There is a fear mindset, which is a by default mindset. By default, our brain is attracted to fear, and naturally so, because it wants us to survive. So we talked about it yesterday, that fears is, it's by default. You will have, the first thought you will have is fear. The second is the abundance mindset, where obviously it is opposite to fears. And I'll give you a quick example. Say, for example, when I started with my business, with my startup, or whatever you say, I am perennially a very, very fear mindset person. So the first thing that will come, and all of us, the first thing that comes to our mind is fear mindset. But very luckily, I have people around me who ask me some very important questions and give me some very important lines to repeat it to my mind and explain. So here is what one of the conversation that happened. I was talking to my husband and I said, now that I am not in a job, let's see where we can cut down. Let's see how we can save more for the future. So I got into that fear mindset. What if it doesn't get successful, or what if we deplete our savings? And the next thing that happened at that point in time was that he said, why are you thinking about cutting costs? Why aren't you thinking about earning so much that we will not have to cut the cost? We'll have to just go ahead and earn so much that we continue living the way we are. And that's the shift in the mindset. Then I started, instead of brainstorming on where I can cut my costs, I started brainstorming on how do I increase my business. You understand the shift? And that's where we talk about these two mindsets, fear mindset and abundance mindset. And a very important formula that I learned at that point in time is that whenever you are in a fear mindset, just ask yourself, what if I was, so as if is a frame of mind, as if I had all of this, as if there was no issue with money with it, as if I had abundant money, what would I do? There are a lot many, and I've created a lot of videos around how do you deal with your fears. But then remember to write down all the, so there are people who operate from some limiting beliefs, and there are people who operate from empowering beliefs. Once we are clear with our goals, next step to it is to understand what is stopping us. What are those limiting beliefs that are stopping us from thinking abundant? And trust me, it's not about anyone external who will bring your abundance to you. This is the only shift required to attract what you want. And how do we do that? We are going to discuss. But first of all, thank you, Vidit, for bringing that up. What you need to do is, in your tangible goals, think about what are your limiting beliefs about money, what are your limiting beliefs about relationships, finances, and stuff like that. So I'll just keep quiet for a minute and ask you if you have any questions.
Bindu, Shweta here.
Hi,
Shweta. I was listening to you, and great point, and I completely agree that our goals should be very specific and how we progress towards it. Now, this third point, what are the challenges or what are the failures which kind of stops us from achieving those? Sometimes we do have clarity, but at the same time, when we face a failure, so let's say I made the first attempt and I actually went ahead and faced a failure. I made the second attempt. Then what happens is it just pushes one back, because when one has made two attempts and they have been through that experience, then the third one is more half-hearted, more doubtful. Now, in that situation, what do you recommend?
Excellent question. So when we move on to that, and even when you are working on that goal, I'm sure in your mind, there is a lot of rehearsal for failure, a lot of rehearsal for success in your mind also, right? Now, how I cope up with that, and I can tell you my tricks and tips. How I cope up with that is that I've learned the art to dissociate with the outcome. So if I need, say for example, a bigger house, I know these are the steps I need to take. And after that, the moment that fearful things start, those language patterns start coming, what if this happened, what if this happened, the only way I shut up my mind is by saying that I'm doing whatever I can. And I believe in God, I believe in destiny. So I just say that, you know what, if it's good for me, it's going to happen. If it's not good for me, God, please don't make it happen for me. Now, what it does is it erases my fear, because I know that even if it doesn't happen, there is something good in it. And that's the power of empowering belief. Then I don't get disheartened. Then what I do next is to give myself maybe one more chance to do it differently. I wouldn't do the same thing again. Or I give myself some time. Okay, if this is not happening, what is another thing that I can do about it? So this is the role of empowering beliefs. Write down every negative belief that you get into, what ifs that you get into, and create an empowering belief. I can help you on the Positive Lights group. If you have some of these fear statements, write it down and I'll give you a counter empowering beliefs. I coach people on this, and I've seen people, completely going fearless out there and say, okay, now we are ready. And what changed? Nothing. No, nothing outside changed. It's just what you tell yourself in that moment. That gives a peace of mind.
Bindu, I have a following question to what you just mentioned. At times when I do journaling, and journaling helps because, and I'm just going with a very plain journaling. I just like get up in the morning and I start writing whatever comes to my mind. What I've seen is at times my brain becomes very smart. As soon as I start writing, it goes blank. Okay, it doesn't allow me to, the thoughts or the feelings are not coming, irrespective, positive, negative. Or let's say, for example, I'm very stressed in that day. That's not the great start to the day. And I have a lot of negative things which are going on. And I plan to write so that I can just throw everything which is there within my brain. But suddenly what happens is, as soon as I start writing, after 2 or 3 statements, my mind goes blank. And as soon as I keep my pen and get up, I feel that, okay, this is sorted. Whatever was there is gone. But then I realize that it again starts working as if it, recognizes that, okay, she's out of action. So let's now start playing the trick. So what do you recommend?
So, what's happening? Your brain is just reading the pattern. And brain is present in the system to help us survive. Now, this is also a grief mechanism, by the way. Some people who go through a very big trauma, what happens is that brain freezes. This is called brain freeze. This is your mechanism, your brain's mechanism to stop you from feeling the pain. And that's a very, very natural phenomenon. And I certainly, I don't know, I'm sure it works for people, but I would never, ever advise anyone to write or journal something negative that you're going through, because it gets cast in stone. You are adding more to your misery. Rather than that, if you want to journal, I would say, if you want to write what is the learning that I draw from this experience? Write what you want to command your brain. Because if you write your negative experience, and this is completely coming out of me, there's no scripture or nobody, people can have different opinions. But for me, I think the only writing exercise that I would recommend is that write down all the fears you're going through, all the names of emotions that you're going through. But don't stop there then. Then once you have the name of emotions, and then just write, as of now is what I'm feeling this. So your brain knows that it's not temporary. Right? But what you write, be very careful of what you are writing, because maybe you are actually strengthening those pain areas. And that's why your brain has now stopped working in those moments. The emotional part has stopped working because it goes through a lot of pain. And why to go through that pain? Right? So think about this and see what do you want to write.
Great point, Bindu. Thank you so much.
Great. Okay. So back to law of attraction. We've been talking about goals, and I always tell you that, it's not about, first of all, please think about why you want it. The more stronger your why is, the better law of attraction will be. Yeah. The second step is to identify what is stopping you from achieving your goal. Like Vidit said, like a lot of you were talking about some fears. the second step to law of attraction is dealing with those fears, and that's when affirmations come into play. Fears are what? Yesterday in the session, and people who have not attended yesterday's session, you can go onto the YouTube and you will get the link. But what we discussed yesterday was that the fears are just some things that we tell ourselves in the brain, right? What we are telling ourselves. And affirmations is nothing but counter attack to that. So it's like, all the programming minds that are here, the engineer minds that are here, you can just, look at it like a code. You are replacing the code. That's all. So let's move on to the point on affirmations. What role do affirmations play? The role of affirmations is to deal with all the limiting beliefs and all the blocks that you're facing while achieving your goal. Role of affirmation is not to say, I want this, I will have a big house, or I am having a big house. That's visualization. So what is the difference between affirmation and visualization? Now I need to put that question to all of you. What are your questions about affirmations to start with? Anyone? Are you clear with why it works? Now, in the beginning of the session, somebody said that what is the link between law of attraction and positive thinking? Law of attraction works when you're operating on a fearless zone. Positive thinking helps you become fearless. Affirmations help you become fearless or deal with those fears. That's all. That is the role of affirmation. It's like an enabler. Whenever there is some fear, which is by default, our brain is programmed to think negative. It is programmed to think about fears that are around us, which is not bad, actually. It makes us help survive. But then to change that to a more abundant mindset is when we use affirmations. So how is it different from visualization? Anyone who wants to give it a try? And I know one of the person I've seen truly working on affirmations and visualization is here. Saurabh, are you there?
I am, Bindu. Thank you for acknowledgement. I mean, without it just sounding like kudos for you, I can just say that my transformation is solely centered around you. Whatever I've learned from you in the last 3 years or so.
I also learned it. Bindu, I am there. Bindu, I am there.
Oh, Shirley, super.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It was wonderful. Though I couldn't see the whole one, but yeah, a little bit, whatever I got it. Thank you so much once again for reinforcements.
Both of you are, the living examples of how the life turned around with the power of affirmations and visualizations. So
absolutely.
I would invite Saurabh and Shirley, both of you, because I have personally seen you working on that after you went through sessions. So why don't you share your experiences and best practices about it? Over to both of you. I know I'm just putting you on the spot.
No.
But
No.
it helps people to understand how it works.
Yeah, so see, to all the people who are present and all respect to Bindu, I just wanted to add only a few things that my life has been full of miracles and all those things because of all affirmations and positive thinking. Earlier, I never used to believe in all these things. I used to think, bakwas hai aur kuch karna nahi aata, logon ko to yahi karte rehte hai, right? I actually never used to believe in that. But when I started doing it myself and writing it and making points and started visualizing it, it came to me in front as if the way I was doing it. But it was created. So so many examples I can tell from my life. Like for example, Saurabh moves from one company to another company, and always dar lagta tha ki move kar rahe hain, so how good it will be. But it was always for good. My own movements from one organization to another, my personal relationships, building them into how to build them good. Living in Mantri is itself is a great example. We never thought of that we will come here. We wanted to run away from this place because we thought, hum afford nahi kar payenge, it is too expensive. But then when you start visualizing, it started happening itself, and then you started visualizing, and today we are here. It's been 4 years now here, and so all friends, relationships, career, business, all those things are, yes. Only thing that I would like to suggest to everybody, the last point is that you just need to believe in that. If you will not believe in that, it will not happen. Log bahut sare aate hain and they say कि हम तो कर रहे हैं, कुछ तो नहीं हो रहा. We do it, it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen because you don't believe in it solely. So you have to surrender to this. You have to surrender that it will happen, right? And you have to be patient with it. ये थोड़ी जादू की झप्पी की आज किया तो कल रात को चेक आ जाएगा. Right? It doesn't happen like that. But yeah, you need to believe in it. You need to be patient of it, and you need to just surrender yourself to this concept that this will happen.
That point, Shirley. Surrender is the key. And how difficult is surrendering? How many of you have experienced that you wanted something and you got it?
Yeah, so I can maybe give a few specific examples just to build on that. Sure. So I remember Shirley started writing about my job in Pepsi back in 2018. I think she started writing when I gave my first interview that this job is Saurabh, and Saurabh is going to make a huge impact at Pepsi. And then there was a 2-month silence from Pepsi, but Shirley kept writing every day that this job is there and Saurabh is working in Pepsi and he's making a huge contribution at Pepsi. And exactly on the day of our anniversary, 27th April 2000, just one day before our wedding anniversary, we got a confirmation back from Pepsi that they want to make an offer, and then we went ahead. And then when we were coming to Mantri Aspana, when we came here for the first time, it was like, this place is not affordable, and we don't think we can live here. And then again, Shirley started writing that we are living at Mantri Aspana, and we're living in a wonderful community. And then after looking for houses 30 days later, we come back here again like 40 days later because we could not find any other place in Bangalore, and the rental rates had dropped by about 20,000, and then we felt, okay, now we can afford it. So that was the second one. The third one is again my job at Cipla here, like moving from FMCG to pharma, heading supply chain over here. And again Shirley was writing that Saurabh's transition to pharma is great, and this role he's going to create an impact. And I think in about 30 to 45 days got selected in Cipla. So our life is just full of affirmations and visualizations. Both of us are very strong believers, and thanks to Bindu. And I mean, I can go on, but maybe another time. But my life from 2016, first time I think I met Bindu that time, I've just blindly surrendered to her. Like whatever she tells, I just do. So the point that Shirley was saying on believing. So all our life we've been taught that seeing is believing. And one thing that I learned with Bindu is if you believe it, you will see it. So we just believe it, and then we just start seeing it. So we just surrender, like Bindu was talking about. Bindu, back to you. Otherwise, this will become my talk.
I think, no matter how much I say, all of you who have implemented this law of attraction that you're saying would help people to really believe in it, that yes, it works. So now let me just
Bindu, I just want to say one last thing. So I always used to say that I don't have enough time, and then when I in one of the things which I write in my affirmations that I have time for everything that's important to me in my life, and suddenly things start happening. Like in supply chain, some problem will not be getting solved, and we'll be spending a lot of time on it, and somebody will then magically solve the problem. Or let's say some of my team members, and Vidit is here on the call. He works with me in my team. Vidit is such a wonderful person. Like he's almost replicated me in my role at Cipla. And suddenly whatever I used to do now, Vidit is doing. So suddenly, Vidit has got created in my life. So similarly, whatever I think which is coming in the way of time, just saying that I've got time for everything in my life, it just somehow magically happens. So just write, believe, and it works. That's all that I can say.
For me as well, Saurabh, so the dialogue that I tell myself is time is just in our mind. There's no concept of time that exists. If you want to make it happen, it happens. So, and what is this? This is all about empowering beliefs, how you want to see things. So it's all about your own empowering beliefs, mindset. Now let's move on to, but first let me just thank you, Saurabh and Shirley, for pitching in here. And let's move on to how do we magnify the impact of law of attraction. But sometimes now, let me just first also address the questions that were asked in the beginning of the session. So why sometimes we lose energy? Who asked this question? Somebody in the group asked this question. Is the person here?
It was me, Bindu, Swati.
Swati. So why we lose energy at times is because the fear mind takes over. Or the second reason is that we lose energy because originally the goal that we had set, the why was not very powerful. So your brain stops believing, and subconsciously it's not aligned to what you really want. So getting clarity on why you want something is very important. Okay, now what I'm going to talk about is the mechanism to refract negative energy. Now let me tell you that I am not saying that thinking positive means that pura din all the time you just think positive. No, we are all human beings. We will feel negative at times. It's okay. You know what is the farce? That we can be positive 100% of the time. Hum sant ban jayenge. We are not, at that point in time, we're not there at that level right now. Let's accept it. If we can, we are striving to that. But what is the success formula for me? I think is that when I feel negative, how much time does it take for me to bounce back? That's the metric that I measure in the engineering terms. That's the metric. So earlier, if I would get into a conflict, to take me days to get back to normal. Now it takes me just few minutes, and that's my win. But that doesn't mean that I've stopped having conflicts. It might be there, still there. But how much time did I take to bounce back is what is the metrics. So if that clarifies whoever asked that question. And then, yeah, I think let's move on to the last part of the session. And I'm going to give you some 6 ways to magnify the impact of law of attraction. Ready? These are the actions that you can take to magnify the impact. Of course, we talked about identify what you want. Now, if you only keep thinking money, 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 money is going to get you something out of these things. So for example, if I get money, I'll have an emotional happiness. Great. If I get money, I will have spiritual, I can get into my spiritual mindset. Great. What is that money getting you? Please write down. Please don't have your goal only saying, I want 7 crores, I want 15 crores, I want this much. You are not going to play cards with those money, right? You're not going to make house with that money itself, that paper or those coins. What are you going to do? What goal are you going to achieve? Please write that down with that money. Money is an enabler itself. It's not a goal. Now, once you are clear, now here are some tools. The first thing, the first way, when you write down what you want to achieve, remember it needs to be written in first person point of view. I want that. I am looking at it. This is, you must be seeing things that you would see them in the real situation. So, somebody asked me, what's your goal? And I said, my goal is to be healthy. And say, oh, then you must be, when you want to be healthy, you'll wear nice clothes, dresses, and you would fit into that. And I'm saying, hello, no, that's not my point. So if my visualization of being healthy was very different from somebody else's visualization of being healthy. Mine was, when I look at my report, not even my eyesight is weak. And that's what I visualize. So what is it that means for you? Make it as vivid as possible for you in that situation. And we use NLP in this. We say that there is a frame of mind called as if. as if I have achieved this goal. What is the scene like? Describe the visuals. Describe the audios. What are people telling you? Describe the feelings. How are you feeling inside? And that's where you make it a first person experience for for yourself, for your brain. So always write your visualizations, your goals in first point of view. Second,
Bindu, one question on the first point. When you said people make a mistake, what is that point? They visualize themselves doing whatever they are doing. What do we mean by that?
So you need to look at what you want, what is yours, what we have already discussed. Basically, describe it in your people make. So whatever and a mistake people make when visualization is that they watch themselves doing whatever they are doing right now. You need to see what you are doing.
All right, got it.
When you achieve the goal. Yeah, not in the journey. When you have achieved it, then what you will be doing. So get into that space. The second one is present tense. Even though what you desire, you're visualizing in order to manifest it. Now, a lot of people write, I will have these many crores in my bank. Not gonna work it out like that. You need to write it in present tense. Even the affirmations that I will be happy. No, it has to be I am happy. So ensure that you're writing it in present tense. Third, apply all senses. This I can't even tell you. It's the most important point in writing your, or creating your visual board. Apply those senses. What are the 5 senses? Visual, audio. Even if you can apply taste, smell, amazing. So there's a neuroscientific value to it. And that's why I don't have time for right now to explain the whole thing to you. But then remember that the more you visualize, the more detailing, even the color of dress you will be wearing when you achieve that goal. To that extent, what will be the, so for me, for example, one of the goals was to address a group of 1,000 people. I had visualized even the stage on which I would be, visualize what I'll be wearing, what will be behind me. So as many senses as you can attach to that. And trust me, I got goosebumps when I achieved that. Because you know what? The stage setup was just like what I had drawn on the paper. And I'm not kidding. So next one. Fourth is minute details count, like what I said, that not only the visual, but also hearing. So what do you want to hear from people? What are people saying? How the claps are sounding like? You can all create those minute details in that visualization, what you want to achieve. So it's not about having a successful business. It's about defining it and living that successful business, how you're feeling inside. Where's the energy? So for example, we are able to gather or understand where an extra energy we are feeling when we are angry, right? Some people have it in their throat, hands. When you're nervous, the extra energy flows. Some people have butterflies in the stomach or a lot of energy in your legs are shaking. So when we're able to experience that in negative emotions, how about positive emotions? So when you achieve your goal, so get into that space when you have achieved it and define it to your brain, that where in the body would you be feeling that happiness, that excitement, or whatever you want to achieve, even that peace. Yeah. So include those emotions and feelings. And last but not the least, consistency creates a belief. And we talked about it yesterday also around trust. But here again, remember, it's like Shirley said, that ekdam se nahi hoga. It's not jadoo ki jhappi. It takes time. It takes consistency. Sometimes, you might end up cursing yourself. Again, I've lost it. I'm trying so hard. I've lost it. But you know what? For that, I have something that I wanted to show you. What I mean by consistency. Okay. So
there's one really big problem with trying to think positive.
Are you able to hear this video?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you what it is. See, this is clean water, and this represents how you're born. Perfect, no flaws, a clean slate. But then life happens. We're told how we have to fit in. We're told what we're supposed to do, what's not acceptable, what society wants. Some people get told that they're stupid. They get told that they're fat. They get told that they're not enough. We have some failed relationships. We go on Instagram and we compare ourselves with other people. We see the advertisements and realize that we're not as good as the Photoshopped photos. And what happens? We become negative and we start having negative self-talk. So not only is there negativity outside of you, but the negative self-talk is now negativity inside of you. Life happens. It's impossible to go through life without getting some scars. But then we hear that we should think positive. And that's like taking a little bit of clean water and pouring it in. It makes it a little bit more clear, but it doesn't make the negativity go away. And at this point is where most people give up. They say that positive thinking doesn't work. Well, if you go at it this way, of course it doesn't work. But then there's some people that try a little bit more positive thinking. And they take more water and they pour it in. And it becomes a little bit more clear and a little bit more clear, but it's still dirty. But then you have to realize that this is how you have to be. You have to search for the positive things in your life. You have to find the things to be grateful for, the things to be happy about. You have to be intentional about creating positive relationships in an environment in your life that's positive. Because thinking positive isn't something that you do sometimes. It's something that you have to do all of the time. You have to be proactive about it. You have to realize that the world is inherently negative, and you have to be intentional every day about filling yourself with positivity. And if we do, this is what our mind will become. It'll start to become a little bit more clear, and a little bit more clear, and a little bit more clear. Because see, positive thinking isn't something that you do sometimes. It's something that you have to do all the time.
Makes sense? Any comments? Anything you want to say? Okay.
Very beautifully explained, very impactful.
Great. Thank you, Shweta. So with that note, I will give you my last formula, what I have learned. You know, staying positive, being, smiling always, and from the heart. It's not, just made up thing, but how it has come up 80% alive for me is by doing two things. What I learned while doing my NLPs and neuroscience courses is that there are two things, two actions that create maximum positive energy in the body. The frequency of these two actions is much, much higher than any other action of positivity. And I imbibed these two things in my life, and I realized that I don't have to now put in a lot of effort to be positive, right? It is just over a period of time. It's like that 80-20 rule, right? 20 things, 20% of the things impact 80% of your life. And this is that 20%, okay? One, the state of gratefulness. Gratitude is one feeling that produces a frequency which is very, very strong, even stronger than the negative energies. Yeah. The second part that I have learned is helping others. Every day, I make it a point that I help at least one person in need. So I make available to everyone in the world. I make myself available. And if I'm able to help even one person every day in the night, I have a very good night's sleep, and that positive energy, by doing these two things, the positive energy that I derive just keeps me going. It helps me fight all the negativities in life. So that those are two things that I learned are have very high potency. And that's what I want to give all of you. So all the best for your visualizations, for attracting what you want in life. I will be sharing some videos around visualization and creating affirmations. These are two videos, if you watch them, that will help you be um, more aware of what works, what doesn't work. It's like a double click on the subjects. So whenever you have time, you watch those videos. This is just the beginning. Now, any questions from all of you before we wind up? I know we are at 12:32, 2 minutes over. So anyone who wants to ask any question, I'm here. And thank you so much for joining in. It's just amazing to meet all of you.
Bindu ma'am, one question. So again, coming back to the original question, why would I attract negative behavior of certain people, or how to overcome that basically?
Okay. So always remember that our brain is by default designed in a way that negative energies are more. So, the first thing, if something goes missing, we think about is negative. Why is that? Because our brain wants to protect us from the negativities, and that's why it shares all that can go wrong. It shares with us to take a quick action, right? But what we do is we just start assimilating those negative energies and create some other kind of dish around it. But then what we need to understand is that, Noreen, again, like the video said, we will continue to absorb negative energies from people if we don't create a shield of positive energy around ourselves. So rather than focusing on what they are doing or what energies they are sending us, that will keep coming to us, Noreen. It's not that we don't have negative people around or negative energies around. Everybody is going through some or the other phase. But what shield are you creating around yourself to protect yourself? So I would say start with the two actions I just talked about, and you will see a magic. You will see how the same people that you're talking about are also transforming. So it's not about other people, it's about you, Noreen. It's about how are you creating that shield. So if I were to give you an exercise to change what you're saying, attracting negative people, then what you do is write your gratitude list, use gratitude prompts every day, and say thank yous as many times a day as you can. And second, help at least one person in your life every day. At least one person. And you'll see, just doing these two things, you will stop getting those negative attractions. Sometimes our brain starts playing game. We love to be, as human beings, by default, the brain feels very comfortable in being a victim. That's what happens. That's why we start absorbing the negative energies from across. So another point in check that you can do is, Noreen, saying that while I'm attracting negative energies, negative people, what is it serving to me? So these are some questions you ask yourself and you will get some answers.
Sure. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'll just take one more minute to thank everybody for sharing their experiences, because I've come in this workshop very blank, and starting from making smart goals to coming to a place that yes, it's possible. I think a couple of people shared that. So now I'm motivated to move to that. So thank you all.
Super Nureen.
Hello, Binduji.
Yes, Jayalakshmi.
Binduji, I have a question. Binduji, just to establish goals and achieve it, I should have known my purpose first. So how do I know what is my purpose? Where does my passion lies? How do I identify that?
So, a very good question, Jaya. So, we discussed this in the early part of the session. But again, two questions that will help you arrive at your purpose in very simple way is when you have a goal in hand, just keep asking, what will this get me? Why is it so important for me?
Okay.
Now, that's the case when you already have a goal.
Okay.
If you have a goal, you know you want to earn this much, you know you want to be happy, you want to, whatever your goal is, just ask yourself, why? Why is it so important for me? And you will get to the purpose.
Okay.
If you don't have a goal and you don't know what, sometimes we are in a space where we don't even know why we exist. Right? And that is the time when that is a transformational time. That's the time when you start searching for your purpose, and we can do a different, I can call someone who works beautifully with purposes, and I'll share with you. I'll get a detox session with him to understand and derive the purpose. But easy is when you really know what you want to achieve and you want to.
I know. Yeah, that is what the confusion here is. What is my purpose in life? So I'm at the crossroads now. No goals.
Okay, so let me
It keeps changing. Actually, the goals keep changing. Actually, so that is why I'm confused.
Okay, so here is one tip I can give. Okay, can you see the whiteboard?
Okay. Yeah.
Now, remember, there are things that we do.
Okay.
Things that we have and how we feel about it. Now, a lot of times our goal is, now how we define a goal is, if I have 1 crore, okay, the have part is, if I have 1 crore in my bank, I will do this.
Okay.
Right? XYZ. And I will feel happy, be happy, or whatever state of being I have. This is the
feelings. Okay.
We think. And with it, I know that you discussed this as well. But think about this, what I'm sharing right now. Okay. We always get, and most of the times, most of the people, we start with what I need to have, what I need to do for it, and then I will. But the right way of living, Jaya, and this is what we have discovered, me and my husband, and now we, find a lot of change in the way we make decisions or the way we live life, to an extent that he actually quit his job. He is now working with me. That is the power of this tool. So we realize that let's talk about what is the state of being that we enjoy the most. And for me, it came out to be, I love being in the grateful state of mind. Okay. And I love to be in a creative state of mind. These are some of my beings as an individual that I absolutely enjoy. It could be different for different people. For example, for my husband, let me write H for him. So for my husband, the state of being that he absolutely enjoyed was peace and calmness. Right? He would do anything for that. But this is not something that I enjoy. Not necessarily all of us enjoy all state of mind. So maybe you feel at your best in some state of mind. Now, when we start with this, what we then can brainstorm is that, what can we do? What are the options for me? What actions do I take that'll get
Okay.
me into these state of minds. And that's when I realized, oh, you know what? The best is to start on my own. Whatever that I'm doing right now, the best is to start on my own.
Mhm.
And that's my goal. That's what I need to do in order to be in this peace of mind. And for him, it was like, okay, I need to quit my job to have that calmness. And he started.
Okay.
And it's not as simple. Of course,
Okay.
you need to see your ecology. You need to
Definitely.
when
Mm.
it happens, but at least you know what you're gunning for. And then you know what, this have doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter what you
Mm.
then there's no question about that this do itself will get you to be.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, so changing your whole perception and getting into thinking about what is that state of being you enjoy, and then choosing hence what are the 10 different things I can do. So these kind of workshops, why do you think I'm doing it? Because I get into that phase in my life where I'm giving, where I'm helping others, and that's
Mm.
that's something that I'm
True, true.
right.
It's helping, truly helping. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's another thought that I wanted to leave you with. So think about it.
Yes. Thank you, Deep. Yeah. Thank you so much, Binduji. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
That
Jaya.
was a quite sensible and informative one. I'll try doing this. Thank you,
Oh,
Binduji.
you know what? Try is a con word.
I will do. I am doing it.
So catch yourself when you say try. Okay, so
Yes.
that brings us to end of the session. I promised 1.5 hours and I don't want to go beyond that. We have already gone beyond that today. So all the very best, and rest of the questions we can pick up in the Positive Lights group. People who are watching on YouTube and are not part of Positive Lights group, the good news is from 1st Jan onwards, we'll start on Facebook as well, so that many more people can come up. So just wait for that and follow the videos. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you.